quiet, atmospheric tone. December 30th, 2000. A freezing fog hangs over Tokyo. In the suburban district of Setagaya, the homes are so tightly packed that a neighbor's conversation can often be heard through the walls. Yet on this night, the neighborhood was silent. The following morning, a relative entered the Miyazawa home to find the front door unlocked. Inside, Takeharu, his wife Yasupo, and their 2 children had been killed with a level of brutality that stunned even the veteran first responders. Forensics teams walked into a house saturated with physical evidence. The killer had left behind his fingerprints, his clothing, and even his own blood, providing the Metropolitan Police with a massive volume of data right from the start. On paper, it was a perfectly documented crime scene. In reality, it would become the most maddening unsolved mystery in Japanese history, a case where every new clue only seemed to push the truth further out of reach. Most killers flee the moment the act is finished. This man stayed. For hours, he inhabited the house with the bodies, illuminated only by the light of the refrigerator he repeatedly opened. He sat at the family's table to eat melon ice cream and brew barley tea. He even located the family's first aid kit to casually bandage a wound he had sustained during the struggle. His biological presence was found in nearly every room. He left behind distinct fingerprints, fibers from his sweater, and trails of his own blood mixed with that of the victims. Months into the investigation, Detective Kenjiro Sato sat in an office overflowing with these forensic profiles, looking at a suspect list that contained absolutely 0 names. This case reveals the hard ceiling of modern forensics. A complete DNA profile can identify a human being down to the individual strand, but that data remains a silent, anonymous string of numbers if there is no matching criminal record in a police database. Beyond the biological samples, the killer left behind his actual possessions: a sweater, a scarf, and a hip bag abandoned on the floor. Inside that bag, technicians found microscopic grains of sand. Geologists analyzed the mineral composition and traced it back to a specific coastal military facility located outside of Japan. The discovery of that sand triggered immediate rumors of foreign military involvement, shifting the focus from a local homicide to a matter of international security. Soon, the investigation began to encounter institutional resistance. Critical evidence files in the police archives were destroyed in an unexplained fire, and witnesses who had initially reported a suspicious man near the scene suddenly retracted their statements. The investigation was effectively buried under the weight of its own discoveries. The evidence pointed toward entities that enjoyed a level of diplomatic protection the local police simply couldn't penetrate. While the physical clues created political gridlock, the digital evidence on the family's computer revealed the killer's psychological state. The killer had booted up the computer in the upstairs office. When technicians recovered his deleted browser history, they found he had searched for a single, chilling question: how long does the smell of blood remain? Investigative journalist Akiko Mori discovered even more troubling details in the sealed files. Footprints found outside suggested the killer hadn't just disappeared. He had likely returned to the house to watch the police while they were conducting their initial sweep. The killer had fundamentally inverted the power dynamic. By returning to the scene and using the family's technology, he transformed the investigators into the subjects of his own voyeuristic game. In a desperate attempt to find a breakthrough, the Metropolitan Police deployed over 200,000 investigators to track down thousands of contradictory leads. The sheer scale of the police response, combined with an intense media frenzy, flooded the department with thousands of useless tips that served only to waste investigative resources. Inside the precinct, Detective Sato's office was eventually consumed by a chaotic grid of string and photos. He searched for a single thread connecting the sand, the clothing, and the digital data. As data points reached the tens of thousands, human analysis failed. It became an unreadable mass. Institutional systems fail when they are buried under a surplus of data. Without a clear unifying narrative to bind the facts together, the investigation simply collapsed under its own weight. The prevailing theory today is that the killer was a phantom, an individual so deeply isolated from society that his DNA and fingerprints existed in no database, and his face was known to no one. Decades later, the Miyazawa home was finally demolished. The heavy machinery tore through the framing, erasing the last tangible footprint of the tragedy and leaving an empty lot in its place. Detectives like Sato eventually reached retirement, having spent their entire careers haunted by a crime that was documented with perfect clarity but remained completely unsolvable. The case stands as a reminder of the limits of forensic science. You can map a person's entire genetic code, but if they have no connection to the world around them, they remain invisible. Modern cities provide a form of natural camouflage. In a crowd of millions, thousands of people disappear and blend together every day, their identities lost in the sheer volume of the metropolis. In a city of this scale, true anonymity doesn't require a mask. It only requires the absence of a record. On a screen somewhere in the city, the voyeuristic behavior found on the Miyazawa's computer repeats itself. A user logs in. A cursor blinks, and a single question is typed. Did you miss me?